Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this session once again. If you're listening to this, you're either on the EU in Kenya YouTube or the EU in Kenya Facebook page. So, welcome to this forum once again. We are excited to bring you these sessions where we speak about study abroad, and today is no exception because we are going to talk about studying in Germany. So if you're listening to this, please go ahead and interact with us in the comment section. Let us know where you're listening in from, whether you have any questions that you'd like us to answer for you. And we will be very happy to interact with you because we want to give you all the information, all the details that you need when applying for a scholarship in Germany. And in specific, we are going to be talking about a program known as DAAD. Some people might say DAAD, but the guest that we have today is going to definitely clarify for us because the acronym is in German, but in English, it means the German Academic Exchange Service. I might be wrong because I do not fully attest to that program. However, we are here to give you some more information. My name is Nduta Wambura. I'm not very new to this channel. We've interacted with you in Erasmus circles, and I'm happy that I have collaborated with EU in Kenya to be able to bring you this study abroad session. So sit back, take a pen and paper, interact with us on the comment section. Let us know what you would like to gain from this session, and we'll be more than happy to let you know every single detail. So without further ado, I want to introduce my guest today, and she is one of the very, very, very vibrant people that I have met in the recent past, and she has been through it. She has been through the program. She has studied in Germany, so she's the right person to even tell us about the DAAD program, or the DAAD, as we say it. So her name is Christine Wandolo, and she is from DAAD Kenya. So she knows the ins and outs of the scholarship in itself, and she is ready to give us all the good stuff, all the details that we need for this application. So let me introduce her. And once again, like I told you, share this with someone, share this with a friend, share this with a relative, comment on the Facebook or the YouTube channel, wherever you're listening in from. Let us know so that we can be able to interact with you. So, Christine, hi,
yes.
How are you today?
Yes. I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you very much, Nduta. I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you for taking your time. I know you have a very busy schedule, obviously, in the office, but it's amazing to have you at the very end of the day. I know it's 5 p.m. in Nairobi. So tell us, what do you do for DAAD? Why are you here? Why DAAD even? What's your, role in DAAD and all this good stuff?
Okay. So thank you very much once again. And viewers, you're very welcome. Today, I'm happy to talk to you about study in Germany and about the German Academic Exchange Service, or DAAD. So I am I'm actually a program officer at DAAD, and I'm in charge of regional knowledge management and marketing, communication, PR, websites, anything media. That's my area. And it so happened because I studied at the University of Nairobi. I studied German and communication. And then I got a scholarship from the DAAD and studied in Germany. This was actually a collaboration between University Bonn, Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg, and the Deutsche Welle Academy. And I did the International Masters Studies program. And after graduation, that was a master's. And then after graduation, I came around. And then I'm actually an in-country, in-region scholarship holder. I'm actually supposed to be finishing my PhD in the next few months, if all goes well.
We should be calling you Dr. Christine very soon. It's going to be
yes. If I work very hard, yes.
Good. And before we can go on, maybe we can clear the elephant in the room. Is it DAAD? Is it DAAD? Is it different pronunciation? I don't know.
It's actually It's Deutsche Akademischer Austauschdienst. Yeah, Austausch means exchange. Akademischer is academic. The Deutsche is German. So German, academic, exchange, and Dienst is, service. So some people call us DAAD in Kenya. Some people call us DAAD, but most people say, I have a question for DAAD. So we are used to being called DAAD. Yeah.
Good to know that now that you have that out of the way. Now, I know that you have definitely studied in Germany. So perhaps we can begin the discussion from there, because you mentioned that, you did your master's already in Germany, and perhaps we can lay the foundation. How is it like to study in Germany in the first place? How did you even get to study in Germany? And for someone who is listening to this and is looking to actually study there, is it a good opportunity for them? Maybe you can just give us a small snippet of how it was, because I know you can write a book about it.
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah. What happened? I was really interested in media and journalism, and I was actually, when I first knew about the program, I was interested in doing something that is called the Fremdsprachenvolontariat, and what that means is it's like a foreign correspondent. So as I was preparing for an interview for that, I got wind of, I got an idea that there was a master's program in the same building, actually, at the Deutsche Welle. So I remember during the interview, the way they usually ask questions, So they're like, do you have questions for us? Like, I have a question, and it's not about this. I actually saw somewhere that you have a master's, and that's how I got contact. So they put me in touch with the person in charge of that. That is Professor Christoph Schmidt. And conversation started like that. And then I applied. And I actually think we were the very first cohort to be taken in for that. And at the DAAD, it falls under a program called EPOS. Yeah, it is something for developing countries. So if you're living in a developing country and you want to study in Germany, they actually give you a scholarship and you get to study. So the scholarship covers your accommodation, your fees, everything that is required, and your upkeep. So basically what we had to do was study.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was just by sheer you being in the right place at the right time and hearing the right stuff, right?
I would say so, yes. Because even the first contact that I got for the foreign correspondence thing, I think we were just in Nairobi and I'd gone for some networking event somewhere. And of course, I studied German, so I could speak German. So the lady who made a presentation was actually very interesting. So afterwards, as we were networking, we talked, and she told me, by the way, we have this program. And I was like, oh, I'll be interested. And I just finished campus. So, when someone has just finished campus, you're just networking and you have a lot of ideas and you're young and all this stuff. So I just spoke to her and she was like, I think this would be something for you. So please write to me, send me your credentials, send me your papers and everything, and we'll discuss this further. So of course, after that, I sent her and they invited me for an interview, and that's how my journey began, actually.
Wow, that is amazing. For someone who is listening to you, that is very inspiring, because you shot your shot, in other words, right? So absolutely. Now, I think, there's a lot that we can talk about your journey in Germany, how you liked it, you like the weather, etc. And perhaps maybe you can mention this towards the end of this conversation. But I want you to tell us, so what exactly is DAAD Scholarship? Who is it for someone who is listening to this and maybe is thinking to do their bachelor's, their master's, or their PhD? Who is it for?
Okay. First, I'll start by defining DAAD in detail. So the German Academic Exchange Service was founded in 1925, and it has a representation in almost, in about 169 countries all over the world. And the Nairobi office is one of them, and the Nairobi office actually represents East Africa. That is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia, Burundi, Rwanda, and South Sudan. So we represent 7 countries. So the DAAD not only offers scholarships and is not only about funding, the DAAD also supports the internationalization of German universities. So whenever we have foreigners going to study there, then German universities become internationalized, and then it also promotes German studies and the German language abroad. And then it assists developing countries in establishing effective universities. So it's actually, our motto is change by exchange. Yeah. So we work towards ensuring that countries exchange ideas, countries exchange expertise. Yeah.
Okay, very important in terms of cooperation between Kenya and Germany, and obviously having to benchmark. Maybe some Kenyan universities can even learn a lot from the German universities, and so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the basis is the exchange, just as the name says. So, I mean, now when someone is thinking of doing a bachelor's, can they go via the DAAD program, or is it just masters and PhDs and maybe postdocs?
Okay, we actually offer information for all levels of study. That is bachelor's, master's, PhDs, and postdoc, all levels. But we only offer scholarships from masters onwards. So if someone is interested in pursuing their bachelor's, we will give you information on where to get, we'll assist you on where to get information on the German universities, one. And then two, as in we offer advice. We advise you, we give you we have a couple of links that we like sharing, and we just send you to the link to the website where you can get an overview of all German universities actually. And then you can actually narrow down and get to say what it is you want. Then you see all the universities in Germany offering that. And we just give you information. We don't represent any university per se. We represent all universities, so public universities in Germany. So we definitely just send you to a database and say, just for example, if you want to study something like computer science, you could do it through our website, or we just advise you to go to, for example, myguide.de. That is like my guide, .de, and then you key in computer science. And then all the universities, you can even say which language you want to study in. So all the universities offering computer science in English in Germany will be there at a glance. We offer that kind of information. But if someone wants a scholarship, then if you're a master's student, we also have information on all the calls that are out.
Okay. So, and then one thing I know of is that Germany education is for free. So if someone is looking to do their bachelor's, in Germany, then would they be able to actually study for free and maybe perhaps have some sort of way to support themselves during the period of study? Or how does that work usually?
Okay. Yeah. If someone is studying in a public university, yes, it's true. Education is free. And their master's programs offered in English also in Germany. And when someone is looking to study, you have to be very careful. When you get the university, you have to look at the cost. They have a place, of course, where they say, if it's a public university, it's automatically free. So depending on which part of Germany you're in, you will pay some administrative costs. So, for example, if you're in the southern part, it's a bit more expensive. If you're in the eastern part, it's cheaper. So, depending on where you're going, you could pay between 300 and 500 euros. Or let's say 400, 400, 500, 600 euros for administrative costs. And this is for, of course, you getting registered and your transport. So your transport is covered. And you'll have to get insurance, you have to pay your rent, you have to buy food, you have all these other costs. Now, those are the things you think about. You think about everything else about you, but then tuition fee is actually, Germany doesn't charge any tuition fees.
Okay, so which means that this 300 to 500 euros is basically per year, or it's for the whole period of the course, or it depends?
It's actually per semester. It's actually
Okay.
per semester. Let me
Right.
just silence this. It's actually per semester.
Okay.
It's actually per semester, and yeah, so that's basically about €1,000 per
Right.
year.
Yes.
That's for only administration and everything, and yeah, your semester ticket, because students, once you are registered at a university, you can actually move from one point to another without
Right.
having to pay for your transport and everything. And yeah, so it's maybe 1,000, and then plus upkeep, normal things, insurance, rent,
Right.
But tuition per se is, yeah, I mentioned.
Wow. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and you had also asked
For
something.
form, then this would be our youth.
Sorry, I lost you.
Go ahead.
Nduta?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes, I can.
Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, sorry
Very
about
clearly.
that. So I think one thing, sorry about that. Again, I mean, the technology sometimes fails us. So what I was trying to ask is that, for someone who actually just finished their fourth form, this can be something that they can look into. And like you said, there is information on our website. You say myguide.ee, correct? So I will leave that on this comment section, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Myguide.de. D for dog. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. I'm
And
sorry,
there's
the
something.
technology sometimes is just lagging behind. So sorry again.
Yeah. Digitalization is
Yeah.
something else. Story for another day.
Yes.
But there's something you also asked.
Yes.
You had asked about how someone can actually. You asked. I think you mentioned something to do with how someone can actually work with upkeep and everything.
Yes.
Or did I? Yes. Someone can actually work in Germany for
Okay.
180 half days.
Yes.
Yeah. 180 half days. Yeah. So that means either you work 180 half days or 90 full days. So in summer, someone can actually work. In
Yes.
your student visa can allow you to work,
Okay.
for 90 full days or 180 half days. And of course, if you're studying, you also want to study well. So if you spend too much time working, something might suffer. So so there has to be that balance. Yes.
Absolutely amazing. This is very good information to know for someone who is thinking of doing their bachelor's. So we want to move to the good stuff, because I know there's one core program that you really, really want to speak about, and this is about leadership. But before we go to that program, we mentioned that you also can study your master's and PhD in Germany with the DAAD Scholarship. So could you please take us through how this goes about? When is the deadline? When does the application begin? Do I need to come to your office to bring my application? Like, those, is there an online application even? I mean, tell us more about how to apply for a master's or a PhD scholarship through the DAAD program.
Nduta, I must say, I really like how you phrase your questions, because you ask like 20 things. So if someone is not writing, you wonder, okay, so which one do I start with? So I'll try to I'll try to remember everything. Let me begin by talking about the Leadership for Africa program. The Leadership for Africa Scholarship program is actually only 3 years old. It's a very new program, and every year we have scholarships for selected countries in East Africa. Okay, Leadership for Africa is also there for West African countries, in Syria, different countries. But for the East African one, like last year we had 4 countries. This year we also have different countries. So like for this year we have Burundi, Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia. Yeah, I think those are the countries. I hope I'm not forgetting any. Yeah. And if you are if you are a resident in these countries, or you are a refugee living in these countries, you can actually apply for the Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program. It is a very special program that is aimed at giving scholarships for refugees as well. So if someone is from, let's say, someone is a refugee in Uganda and they'd like to study, as long as they're in Uganda, they can actually apply.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
What makes this scholarship program special is that it offers extra classes in leadership, governance, and a few classes related to leadership. But then you choose, it's open for almost all areas of study except medicine, I think law, architecture, and fine arts. So if you study in any other, for example, if you're doing economics, all you need to do is identify a university in Germany, and then you, of course, make contact with one of those universities, and then you apply for the Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program. So besides your studies being funded, you will get these extra classes in governance and leadership, and yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So, when does this leadership program actually open for application? And maybe you can tell us whether we are already within a deadline or it's going to come in the future, or
Very good question, Nduta. That's a very good question. The deadline for this scholarship is 30th of June. This month, like in 7 days, we are closing. We are actually receiving applications now.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've been doing web seminars to give people more information.
Yes.
Yeah, on the Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program. There's the application process.
Yes.
If people, some people like last minute, so you're saying, Patty, I'll apply on the 28th. It's not possible.
Yeah.
Because that's when you log in and you realize that that day, technology is not on your side, number one. Number two, the form that you need to fill and the requirements. So the scholarship was opened, when was it? Right after Easter. It's been running since, I think that was, when was Easter? I think 19th of April, thereabout. Yes, or 14th, yes. Either right before or, so since April, the whole of May, the call has been going on, and the whole of June.
Okay.
So for this particular program, we have that open window, and we're receiving applications, and the deadline, as I had mentioned, is 30th of June of this year. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The other questions.
So if someone has like 1 week, is it enough time? Because today is on Thursday, the 24th, the 23rd rather. Sorry. So does one have enough time to apply within this 1 week if they can set themselves into applying for it for sure? Like maybe from now, is it possible to finish by then, or it's too short?
There's a requirement. You need to have identified at least 3 universities in Germany. You fill in, let's say, if you want to study in Bonn, or you want to study in Freiburg, or you want to study in Hamburg, you have to list so that they know where it is you want to study and why. So for example, if only the Technical University of Munich offers what you want, you would say my number 1 is this because of this. Of course, it's a very competitive program, I must say. So of course you have to have identified an institution. You can't just apply without knowing where you want to go and what you want to do. And then there are some requirements, like someone must have a qualification that can allow them to go to university in their countries. For example, in Kenya's case, someone must have C+ and above. And then number 2, your previous degree, in this case Bachelor, because this is a master's program, your previous degree should not be more than 6 years old. That means you should have graduated not earlier than, in our case, 2016. So 6 years and below. And then you must have achieved a second class upper and above. Second class upper and above. So that's basically. And if someone has at least a number of universities that they have been in touch with or that they were interested in a while back, and they're thinking, let me try to go to this university, then that's very welcome. And I believe there's nothing that is impossible. You can actually apply, and who knows?
Yes. Well, absolutely. So, but whichever the case, this program, I would believe it opens every single year. So, if someone feels that this is a very short deadline, then they can definitely shoot their shot next year. I do believe that they can prepare for their documents and maybe listen in into the webinars that DAAD has been doing, and pretty much follow through. Even on social media, you can find DAAD Kenya on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, depending on where you prefer. Really, you're spoiled for choice. So, and you can always have this information on their website as well. So it's up to you guys to do your due diligence and read through the information that is provided for you. Please make sure that you follow to the letter, because I know for a fact that DAAD application, any German application, really, you really do have to follow all the instructions to the letter. So
Absolutely.
for someone who might, apply for it, when does the leadership program begin? Is it this September, or when will the program begin, per se?
The program begins in May 2023.
Okay.
Yeah. So the deadline for application is now. Is it May 20? I think it's May 2023. Yes.
Okay.
And if I'm wrong, please visit our website. By the way, the secret to most of these things is just reading.
Yeah.
Information, go to the website, read through one by one, step by step, and you'll find it very easy. So for example, if you go to our website is www.daad.or.ke. So if someone goes there, the second menu is Study in Germany. Under Study in Germany, we have, of course, a number of programs, but then there you'll see Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program. So you just click on that, and then you'll see all the details. Yeah. You'll see all the details. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that is just for the leadership program, guys. I can see quite a number of questions asking. So how about us who have second lower bachelors, and it's as if they feel they are left out. But no, you're not left out, because we've not yet even talked about the DAAD program. We have in-country scholarships. We have scholarships in Germany. There's a lot that you can actually plug in. And I guess this was the other part of my question. So, Christine, sorry. Now, perhaps you can let's talk about the master's, application and the DAAD scholarship, program for the master's, because I know that you have two facets where someone can study in Kenya still under a DAAD scholarship, or can decide to come to Germany and study there. So maybe we can talk about that now. What is the application, like for a master's program?
For you mean for the in-country?
Yes,
okay.
For the in-country.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks for that, Nduta. We have the in-country, in-region scholarship program. Yeah. And this is a program that allows you to study either within the country or within the region. So you could identify a university in, let's say, South Africa. And if you meet the requirements and all, you could actually get a scholarship to study there. So the in-country, in-region scholarship is usually open for specific institutions. And we always post our calls on the website. The window period is usually between October 15 and December 15. The deadline is often December 15. So when you're there, when you're interested, if you visit our website and you see a call maybe to one of the universities and they have what you're looking for, and this one is, let me say, not like the Leadership for Africa one. This one will be maybe open depending on what the universities that are there are offering. So for example, if a university in Dar es Salaam is offering law and you want to study law in Dar es Salaam, then you apply to the institution and you apply to DAAD. Yeah. Okay. So and I forgot to mention this also for the Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program, there's usually a portal where someone sends in their application. So you wouldn't say, oh, let me send this application to so-and-so. It's a portal, and the portal automatically gets your application. So for the in-country, in-region scholarship program, you apply to DAAD and you apply to the institution at the same time. So as I mentioned, between October 15th and December 15th, like now, we have new institutions coming up. Okay. And on October 15th, yeah, please visit our website or around that time to see which universities are there and
Yes.
what they are offering, and then you can apply actually to study. Yeah.
Okay. So for in-country scholarships, you can actually either study in Kenya, or maybe you can decide to also go into an East African country or any other country of your choice. Is that the case, or what is the drill there?
Yes, within the region. So you could either apply to study in Kenya,
Yes.
or any other country in East Africa, or a country. Oh, and I've just remembered something.
Yeah.
You remember the Ukraine war actually
Yes.
disorganized a number of people, a number of students, and there's a new scholarship that that I think was released last week, actually, either last week or 2 weeks ago, and the deadline is 4th of July. So this is a very special and very specific program for anyone who was studying in the Ukraine, and their studies were interrupted because of the war. So if someone is there, they can actually apply for an in-country scholarship program. It's also on our website. Yes, it's also on our website, and the deadline is July 4th. So if someone was studying in the Ukraine and their studies got interrupted, they can actually apply for an in-country. This one is not in region, but within the country. You can actually say, I was studying, let's say, what now? I was studying accounts and it didn't work out. I'd like to go on with my studies within the country. So you get a DAAD scholarship for that.
Okay. And which means that your credits from Ukraine university would be transferred to the new university that you actually enroll into, correct?
Yes. Or you could start afresh if you so say, but it should be a 2-year. I think it's a 2-year program, either where you left off, or of course, all these things. Yeah, there's a play. There's a part the DAAD plays, and there's a part the institution plays. So we won't really go into what did the institution say. If you get the chance and the institution says ABCD, then the DAAD will be there to support that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I digressed a bit. There was something I was answering.
Don't worry, did not. It's fine, really, because that's a very important program. Especially, we've seen in the recent past African students being stranded and not knowing exactly where to go. So this is a very, very good thing for them to know. Anyone who is listening to this, even if you're in the East African region, this is something that you can tell to your relative or your friend, really. So that's a very good point that you made. And now going back to the in-country scholarships. So you say that the application period is between October to December. So does this mean, like, for instance, if I want to study in Kenyatta University or University of Nairobi or whatever it is, so I would need to first identify a course that I would like to study in that university, a master's course, apply for it, get admitted, and then come to you guys and then apply on your portal to get a scholarship for an in-country scholarship, is it?
Very good question. Very detailed question. Now, you won't just apply to any university. What happens is, every 3 years, we have calls from institutions.
Yes.
So if the institutions qualify, the courses that the institutions applied for will actually be accepted by DAAD. So if DAAD says, we would like to sponsor environmental science in KU, you can apply for environmental science in KU and apply for the scholarship. Not mathematics, and then you say, I want to study mathematics in KU, and then you apply. No. If mathematics is being offered, is under the call, under the call that is under DAAD, then you can apply. Yes.
So which means that there are some specific courses every single year that DAAD supports within a certain country or the East African region, rather.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Specific and different. Yes. Because you may say, for example, there's mathematics at Strathmore. Next year, there won't be mathematics at Strathmore. Maybe you'll find something totally different from maybe mining from Taita Taveta University. So it varies depending on, and the calls are quite many. So it's also quite competitive. So it gets to, the specific institutions that have been selected. Yes. So you're right.
Okay. And Christine, we all know about our universities, especially in Kenya, where, you can take your master's for 2, 3 years, 4 years down the line, you're still doing this master's. I don't know whether there's a caveat when I get a DAAD in-country scholarship, whether maybe I can study for a shorter period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 years. I don't know, because you know how the drill is here. So is there
Oh,
a
yes.
caveat set by a DAAD saying that, hey, you have to finish this within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
Actually, a normal master's degree should take 2 years.
Yes.
A normal PhD degree should take 3 years. And as you have so correctly put it, that is not really the case in the region, leave alone in the country. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens when you finish your first year?
Yeah.
You always send in your papers to the DAAD to renew it for the
Yes.
second year.
Yes.
When you're done with that, you send in your papers to the DAAD to renew it again. Yeah, so for your third, that's for PhD, for example, for your third year. And then after that, of course, since we had said, of course, you can't be on scholarship for 6 years.
You know how we do. Yes.
Yes, you will limit others who may want to finish in 1 year. You get. So for the funds, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So, for example, for masters, it should be 2 years. For
Okay.
PhD, it should be 3 years. Yes.
Yes.
So if you don't finish within that, yeah, you'll find a way to fund yourself. But it's actually advisable to really work hard within, because you needed the money, you needed the support. Now you have it. You really try to fit within the frame.
Yes. Okay. So good to know. So you have to step up, guys. If you're applying for this in-country scholarship, you have to step up your game and make sure that you are on top of your game at school. So not just going there and feeling that you're getting some scholarship somewhere, some free money somewhere, so you lag behind. And if you're listening to this, obviously, please let us know if you have any questions about the in-country scholarships. But I would like us to also talk about the German DAAD scholarship, so whereby someone is applying for masters to come to Germany. And is the process the same as the in-country, or how does it go in terms of the application process?
Okay, we have a number of scholarships. I only mentioned the Leadership for Africa one. We have APOS, the one I had mentioned earlier, and we have PPGG, yeah, this public policy and governance something. So we have a number of scholarships. And we also have Helmut Schmidt. I think that's the PPGG one. So I would encourage anyone who is interested to visit our website regularly, because we often post our calls on our website. So most of our scholarships to Germany run up to, the deadline is usually, is it October 31st?
Okay.
Yeah. For PhD, for example, and if someone is interested in pursuing a PhD in Germany, we have a series of web seminars about PhDs in Germany and how to apply for a scholarship. It's actually a 4-part series. So we have how to, first you need to understand the German higher education system, and then we'll talk about how to apply. Then you need to know if it is a structured program, what kind of program you're going for. And the program officer in charge of that is actually running beginning in July. Is going to run a program on how to do that before the deadline. So if you are available, please register. If you go to our website, again, daad.or.ke, you go to visiting hours, you can click on that, and then under that you will see web seminars. Under web seminars, there's a plus there, so you'll see the list of all the web seminars that are available, and this is also for other web seminars. So you can actually register. You could even register for, if I were you and I'm interested, I would register for all of them so that I get a reminder anytime. So you just register, and then you'll get information about it. But it's usually October 31st, like I think for masters as well. So for in-country and region, the deadline is December 15th. And for PhD programs to Germany, it's October 31st. For studies beginning the next year. And like I said, always read to get information. I may say this, but there's a program that calls for something else. For example, as I've given you an example of the Ukraine scholarship, the Ukraine one, the deadline is July 4th. Leadership for Africa, the deadline is 30th June. So, yeah.
Right. I mean, this is information that is available. I mean, there are so many channels, guys, for you to get the information. And as I want to give Christine just a quick breather, and then we are going to delve right into the questions and answers. And, you know, I can see all of you. You've been interacting with us here. And thank you so much for staying onto this session. You're listening to Study Abroad Sessions on the EU in Kenya Facebook page or the YouTube page, depending on which you prefer. So please make sure that you can subscribe so that you can get more information, because we will be doing more of these sessions just to let you know and give you information about how you can study in all the EU member states. So we are working very, very hard to ensure that you know the ins and outs of each of the EU member states, such that you can make a very informed decision whenever you want to come and study abroad. And Christine and myself, you know, we've been through the systems, we've been through study abroad, and we know at least, you know, how to study in Europe and how to navigate life in Europe. And let me tell you, it's a very rewarding thing that you can do to yourself. So ensure that you can, you know, take all the information, be a sponge, you know, absorb all the information, all the right information, because at least you can trust this channel to bring you the correct information, because there's so much that is out there. People misinform each other, but you're listening to this, and of course we ensure that you're getting the correct and updated information. That's why we are here. So thank you so much for staying on. We are going to delve into the question and answer in a very short period of time. So please, if you have not yet sent your question, please do that, or your comment. Really, we want to hear from you. We want to hear what else you would like to, you know about studying in Europe, and we will definitely make it happen. So yes, this session is recorded, so you can watch it later on either of the pages on Facebook or YouTube, the EU in Kenya Facebook or YouTube channel. So please, if you cannot catch up right now, please make sure to come back and watch it back. It's going to be remaining there on this evergreen space. So that's the reason why we encourage you to subscribe, as well as like the Facebook page. You can also like the DAAD Kenya Facebook, Instagram, Twitter pages, so that you can get all this information, and you can get notified whenever they have a session that allows you to even interact with them even very closely, because they will give you these seminars to allow you to know how to apply for, you know, scholarships. So like I said, this is the best platform that you can ever be. So I want to bring Christine back here, and I only have one more question before we can go into the very many comments that I can see. So Christine, what is one of the things that you can say is, maybe, because there are so many things that maybe an application needs. So what is one thing that someone needs to pay attention to when doing any type of application for a DAAD scholarship, or even maybe a bachelor's, you know, in Germany? What is one thing that you have seen? Because I know you've worked with a lot of students, and one of the things might be the deadlines, because we are so used to go applying for that opportunity at the very last minute. So that is just one of them. But what is one thing that you have noticed that people really need to pay attention to when they're applying for a German scholarship or a German opportunity?
Only one thing. Only one thing, I would say, instructions.
Yeah.
Follow instructions to the letter. Yeah.
Right.
Like sometimes there are very many applications, like not even sometimes, often. Often we have very, very many applications. So if we have 100 people who pass the mark, who are actually qualified, and we only need, let's say, 50, it means any small thing that you didn't do, can actually put you out. You'll shortlist yourself out, actually.
Yeah.
So what I would say is of course, apart from deadlines, thanks, you mentioned that already, but instructions, follow instructions to the letter, and then read. I mean, Nduta, it's very hard to summarize, like, and just say one word, but read all the instructions, get to know what do they want, what are they asking for,
Right.
Because even as we do our consultations, we realize that people do not really want to read. You tell someone, please go to our website, and all the requirements are listed there very clearly. But someone says, what if, as in, just the best thing is to read and get to know what it is that is required of you. Yeah. Absolutely. And of course, deadlines, don't do 23:59, as in the deadline is at midnight, 00:00, and you're really trying. That's the day your internet will hang on you. And if the deadline is gone, it's gone.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you, because it's the same even with Erasmus programs and any other program that you will hear about studying in Europe or even in the US, wherever it is. Really, read, and make that culture a very good thing for you, because you know what, even when you get that opportunity to come and study, you will need to read a lot, because the course curriculums in Europe are very different from what we have in Kenya. So you would need to have that drill going already. So like Christine said here, read. And I just want to go straight on to the questions that you guys have been sending here. And I do see, yes, thank you so much for staying from Bomet, from Mandera, from pretty much everywhere, really. Thank you so much. So one of the questions is, must one speak or write in German to secure the scholarship?
No. Actually, Germany has over 2,000 programs in English, master's programs in English, but to survive in the country, where you are, of course, you need to speak the language to survive in the country, because as in Germany, it is also like that. Imagine if you go to class in English and then you go out there and you can't even ask for water. So to study, you can actually study in English, but it's always good to learn some German. And at the end of the day, by the time you finish your studies, you'll have understood some German, because everything, like the language around, when you go out, when you go to eat, when you go to the train, when you go to the bank, the language is German. So it's good to, of course, they speak English. They speak English, but the standard language is German. So imagine if you're in a train and they're saying, oh, vacate, and you can't understand. Catastrophe.
Yeah, too bad. But would you say it's prudent for someone to start learning German already in Kenya? Would that help at least, maybe? I guess.
Yeah. It would actually help. Yes. And I think also, when I'm not so sure about this, so I wouldn't want to say this, but I think when you're applying for a visa or something, they find out if you know at least some basic hello, how are you? As in, I'm not so certain, but I think that's a requirement. So if you're interested, I mean, you could, I would encourage, but it's not a requirement for your university. If you're applying and they tell you the course is in English, there's no pressure to learn it, because you learn it anyway.
Yeah, it will be a anyways. So we hope that we have answered your question. So someone else watching from Ireland, while pursuing my master's under IFE Africa, yes, please look out for the opportunities for PhDs in Germany. Yes, from Nairobi. Okay, so someone who is looking for PhD opportunities in Germany, ZEF is my most preferred for agricultural economics. How best can I secure a position? I mean, again, I do believe is apply, read, apply.
I think ZEF, I know ZEF. ZEF is a different organization, so maybe you could ask a question to ZEF and read and find out what it is they're looking for and apply.
Absolutely. Now, a very good question here. Is there online schooling option for DAAD scholarships? Or is it all either in person in Kenya or East Africa region or in Germany? How does that work? Is there any option to study online?
That's a very good question. I'm sure this is related to the consequences of the pandemic. Now we prefer home office, studying from home, online studies, blended learning. It depends on the institution and it
Right.
depends on the course that you're looking for. So, for example, if you want to study, let's say, something applied in applied sciences,
Yeah.
It highly depends on the institution and what they're looking for.
Right.
And I think at the moment, the DAAD scholarships, as it has always been, is for people who do in-person learning.
Okay.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
people who do in-person learning. So you have to be there. But
Yes.
then, if you're looking for something blended or you're looking for something entirely online, then you'll have to find this information from the institution you're interested in.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So there's no other way out. Maybe perhaps you can find. I don't know whether there are some short courses or some. There are people who actually offer like 1 week or maybe 2 weeks sort of programs which you can learn online and maybe be able to get a certificate or something of the sort. But again, you have to check. This information is on Google, so I guess. The other question is a very good one as well. With second lower bachelors, I don't fit anywhere. Is it possible for maybe even a master's, I guess, or not?
For masters, like depending, some programs are very, very specific. Yeah, like the Leadership for Africa Scholarship Program specifically says you should have had a second class upper and above.
Yes.
So if it's so specific, then yeah, it has to be so, because that is part of the instruction. Yeah. So I wouldn't want to break your heart, if so to speak, but I would say just look at the scholarship and the requirements. They always have this part that says who can apply.
Yes.
So if it says, if it doesn't mention that and it's looking for experience, then yeah. But for second law, it's just like for bachelors, as I mentioned earlier, you must have at least achieved some grade that can allow you to go to a university in your country. So there's some cutoff marks and cutoff points that need to be put into consideration.
Yeah. And I mean, what I can tell you, I can just quickly throw in a bone here. If you want to apply for Erasmus, go for it, because at least if you have some sort of experience that backs up that second lower bachelor's, then perhaps you could be a good candidate, depending, again, on what you put as your experience and your statement of purpose, really. So be on the lookout for that. We talk about Erasmus all day, every day, but this forum is not for that. So let's moving on with the questions. So any program for a bachelor's degree older than 10 years, but with a work experience?
Now, you see, Nduta, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
That is like very specific information that someone, I mean, it would be so sad. Yeah. It would be so sad for me to say, no. And then 3-4 years down the line, you come and realize, wait, there was this scholarship that didn't really want me to be within the 6-year frame. Yeah. So just please visit our website. Please go to www.daad.or.ke. I cannot emphasize this enough. Just look, read. You can actually just read. You may actually stumble upon a course that is interested in experience. Maybe they're saying they're looking for people who have 10-year experience in this. They don't even want to know if you did your bachelor's. They don't read.
Yeah, absolutely agreed with you. So, Christine, you should also talk about the DAAD PPGG and DAAD EPOS programs. Can one get permanent residency after school in Germany, as is the case in other countries? I believe that was the question. So it's the PPGG as well as EPOS programs. I think you mentioned just a little bit about it, but maybe you can elaborate quickly. Yeah.
Okay, the PPGG scholarship program is actually public policy and good governance. And I would encourage you to go to www.ppgg.org.ke www.daad.de/PPGG. As the name suggests, it's a Helmut Schmidt program, and I think we have it on our website as well. The website that I had mentioned, please go to calls. Under calls, you'll see PPGG. And then the APOS, it has something to do with Entwicklung, that is development. So for that, you'd go to www.daad.de/EPOS. Yeah, so that is, yes, APOS. So you could read about that.
Yeah.
And the third question was?
Can one get permanent residency after school in Germany, as is the case in other countries? Of course, this is something that, it has to do with immigration, but we don't want to, go into that.
Question.
Yeah.
Good question. If you study in Germany, you can actually have an extension of about 18 months.
Okay.
You can stay there for 18 months to look for a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could stay there for 18 months, look for a job, and within the 18 months, if you get one, that's fine. And at least when you get a job after your studies, this will not be limited to the 180 half days I had mentioned, or the 90 full days. Yeah. So this is, of course, open. But as Nduta has so correctly put it, it has something to do with immigration. Yeah. So for immediate, you don't have to leave immediately after your studies.
Yeah.
Yeah. You actually have a time frame for looking for an opportunity or an engagement.
All right. So I guess that is something that you can look into, obviously, as soon as maybe you are successful. So the other questions are quite generic. How do you know which courses they support in-country for undergraduates? Do you support in-country for undergraduates in the first place, or it's just masters?
No, sadly, I can't see the names. No, we don't. In-country for undergraduates, that is something totally different, because if you're in Kenya and you want to study your bachelor's, if I may put it, unajua mali pa kuenda, as in, but for what? I digress. For masters, you have to look at our website and see the institutions that are supported. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. And new ones are coming. Actually, it runs for 3 years. Like what you see in October this year is what you will see next year for the next 3 years. And then after that, it will change again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, absolutely. So our universities in Kenya are fond of delaying the students. It's tricky with the scholarship. Well, it's not tricky. You have to really follow the instructions. Perhaps you might be lucky enough to get an in-country scholarship and at least, bag in a good supervisor who can be able to fast track your thesis, because that is usually the trickiest of parts to finish your master's. Yeah.
That's a real challenge. Yeah, it's a real setback.
Yeah.
And I hear you. Whoever that is, I really hear you. That's a real setback. Yeah.
Absolutely. But then again, of course, if you want to shoot your shot for the German scholarship, the DAAD, study in Germany, then maybe it could be a very, very, very smooth, straightforward process. It's to the letter, 2 years, no more, no less. Is very, very good. The thing is, obviously, you have to apply for these things for you to be able to know. So from outside looking in, you might have so many questions, but until you interact with the process, obviously, you would never actually know. So please go ahead and apply. Another question, I have one appeal. Do we have a network of Kenyan students in Germany we can link up with? I'd love to be part of them. Thank you for the program. So I do believe that there is, yeah.
The writer is in Germany? Or
I do not necessarily know whether they're in Germany, but obviously I believe there should be a network of Kenyan students in Germany, because we already have even a network of Kenyan citizens in Germany. So I don't know whether there's a big network for the DAAD specifically, or maybe just in general Kenyan students in Germany. So Perhaps if you know any one of them, I don't know whether this person is in Kenya still or in Germany. Maybe
No,
they
because,
can. Yeah.
I'm trying to prod because it depends on who the person is. If they're studying in Germany, I think there are some international offices
Yes.
at their institution. They could find out from there. And if
Yeah.
they're within Kenya, that is
Yeah.
an alumni network. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So there are also, you could look at Alumni Portal Deutschland.
Yes.
Yeah, Alumni Portal Deutschland.de.
Okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, so actually we have alumni programs. If someone is an alumni, you could even contact our office. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Info.nairobi@daad.de.
Okay.
Then the person in charge of alumni will actually respond to you, alumni.
Yeah. All right. Now, moving on, anything about the A-level students doing the British Excel system? I think, I believe the question is about whether they qualify for a scholarship if they studied via the British system, or you just consider the Kenyan system. I don't know.
And you could definitely study in Germany, but unfortunately we do not offer scholarships for undergraduate level.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to be studying at master's or PhD level. For undergrads, we do not have. Yeah, but you could, with an A-level certificate, of course, you can apply to study in Germany. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Secondary school, can they go to the school in EU? Yes, we talked about the bachelors. You can definitely apply for a bachelor's in Germany. Can she kindly expound on PhD structured programs, etc.? Lots of you here, Christine. Lots of work.
Actually, that's a good question.
Yeah.
We have, of course, there's something called PhD structured program, and I wouldn't really want to delve into that right now. Yeah. What I would say is please go to our website and register for a web seminar that is, I think that's the second or third series. Please register for that. And the program officer who's actually in charge of PhDs in Germany will only talk about that.
Okay.
Yes. Then you'll get to know about all the PhD programs in Germany. Is it structured? Is it, the different kinds that are there. But it's a good question.
Good question. True. One other very good question. Is there any age limit for a PhD program, or, oh my God, do I have to be maybe 20, 30, 40, 50? I don't know. As far as I know, Europe has no age limitation, but I don't know about Germany, whether you guys have any age limitation for PhDs or not.
The good news is no, there is no age limit.
Okay.
But your last qualification must not be more than 6 years old. So you should have finished your master's between at least 2016 and now.
Okay.
Maybe depending on when the call is, 2015 maybe. But if it's very old, if you finished in 2010 and you are still thinking, it's a bit late.
Stop thinking. Think elsewhere. Think Erasmus.
Absolutely.
And of course, guys, if you want to look for a PhD, you can check out the website. I keep talking about this website every single time. It's Eurax's website that stipulates all the EU funding for PhDs and postdocs. So if that's your thing, check that out. Now, I want to go through and see whether there's another question that is not yet answered. Okay, so do you have to study the German language? As we already spoke about that. Okay, a very good comment. True, studies in Europe are difficult, very different, especially for us from Africa. True, totally different from what we are used to back at home. Absolutely. And I think, okay. Oh, this is a very good question. There is a requirement for a supervisor confirmation letter in Germany for a PhD scholarship application. Please share how to go through this. I have been trying this for a while now, especially in geology. Very good question. about getting a supervisor for your PhD. So this is always a big hurdle. So maybe you can share some information about this, Christine.
I think the best way to go about this would be to contact our offices. Please call us at 0733 929 929,
Okay.
or send an email at info.nairobi@daad.de, and the program officer in charge of that will actually get that email and
Right.
she will respond. Yeah, because I know there's a website. There's a website where you can actually see the available professors and their area of interest. And another way, would also be to go look at publications.
Yeah.
Look at publications. Say you say geology, so look at I don't know much about geology, but look at what you're interested in, and then Google the paper. Yeah, and then if you see something interesting, you could actually write to the author. Some publications actually give you the email addresses of the authors, of the publishers. So you could write and just introduce yourself and say, I'm interested in this. Yeah. And if they can't help you, more often than not, they will actually send you they'll connect you somehow. They'll tell you, oh, that is not my area, but maybe you could write to so and so.
Yes, absolutely. We've talked about this before, even with one of the alumni here, about cold emailing and introducing yourself to a potential supervisor who doesn't even know you. So reverberate your email towards what this supervisor has done. Does it connect with what you're interested in doing? Because some supervisors will not even, look at your email twice if you are telling them to, you want them to supervise a whole different topic that they have not studied, they've not written papers, they've not done anything there, and then you're like, oh, I want you to supervise me here. They have no basis of supervising you. So it's very important to make sure that whatever you're writing on your introductory letter, or what we call a cold email, is exactly what this supervisor has been up to, what research they've been doing, and all this good stuff. We talk about this stuff on this channel, so please be on the lookout once again. So I guess another last, maybe second last or something, I'm doing masters in Europe. For anyone planning to apply, to go for it, but check again where you truly want to go. It's not just about studying abroad. I have taken my studies in 3 different countries: Holland, Belgium, and Germany. Consider applying Holland and Belgium. Okay. Well, it really is up to you guys. What works for you definitely does not have to work for someone else. But if, for instance, you have a very good experience in one country, it's always good to share this information. So thank you for that comment. I think, okay, so Jonathan has clarified that the writer is in Kenya, hoping to go there soon after watching the program. So I guess the person who was asking for the student network is someone who's looking to come to Kenya. So like you said, it's an alumni network, right?
The person is in Kenya, but he studied in Germany.
Wait a second. It's the other way around. The writer is in Kenya, hoping to go to Germany after watching this program. So I believe it's the network now in Germany, right?
So they are trying to get networks before they go.
Yeah, they want to interact with people before they go.
How do you think about that, Nduta?
Well, unless it's on the basis of maybe you want some sort of assistance with the application process, I don't know, but it's no, unless maybe it's on social basis, fine. There is a network for Kenyans in Germany. You can find Kenyans in Germany on Facebook or wherever else, and maybe introduce yourself to them and let them know that you're potentially wanting to go there. But it's a long haul, because what I know is that, especially for alumni, even Erasmus alumni, it's always very good to just interact with them if it's on the basis of maybe you want to start with your application, maybe they went through the same program and you want some sort of assistance there, and you already have assistance here. So I don't know about joining such forums yet, but if you're a successful candidate, perhaps maybe you can join those forums then. But maybe, Christine, you can tell us something, maybe from what you learned, and did you even interact with people there, or what happened?
I'm looking at it this way. Imagine you just completed your primary school.
Yeah.
And you're going to high school.
Yeah.
You're going to Kenya High, or you're going to Alliance.
Yeah.
Do you look for people from Alliance before you go to school? Or do you see where I'm headed?
When you put it that way, no.
Yeah, as in, I don't know. I just think if the people to network with are maybe you need to the people to network with are actually the people in international offices who can actually help you get there. And once you get there, they will definitely connect you to people living there who are studying there. Otherwise, then I don't see. Let me just say, I do not know any networks.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to just actually studying abroad. For I'm sure even some listeners have studied abroad. It's about launching into the deep. It's about going. What is it called? Wading through murky waters.
Yes.
Yes, you don't know where you're going, but you're going because you have a conviction that you need to go there.
Yeah.
So just like this high schooler, this primary school kid who is graduating to high school, and you go and you meet all these interesting people and a new lifestyle and all. Nobody prepared you, but somehow you fit in. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I agree with you. Honestly speaking, like I said before, if, for instance, you want to network with past alumni, what you can do is identify with alumni who possibly have gone through the same program, the same maybe university. Introduce yourself well. Let them know that, hey, I just maybe perhaps want you to check maybe things like statement of purpose, your CV, etc., these kind of things. That way you can maybe even make a friend from them. And if you just want it for social purposes, there is a forum for that. There's Kenyans in Germany Facebook, Kenya Ujerumani, I believe. There's Kenyans in Europe Facebook pages. If you want this for social purposes, there are pages for that. So be on the lookout for that. Again, do your due diligence and see what actually works for you. So I hope we answered your question. Not to discourage you, honestly. It's just really telling you as it is. It's just the reality, honestly. Now we are on the top of the hour, and I see one other thing that maybe please put those email addresses on the chat. Yes, we will do that. And let's see something else. Generally, does German universities need the language test for admission after getting the scholarship? So maybe this is something that we will also answer, as we wrap up. Okay. And let me see whether we have missed anything else. So I think we have covered all our bases. So we will put in the email addresses right there, so you can be able to reach out to the DAAD office in Nairobi, and you can get all the help that you need. Once again, be on the lookout on their social media pages for announcements towards any seminar that is occurring, depending on the program that you would be interested in. Obviously, send a good email. Don't just say hi, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you want? What type of help do you want? Don't just call the number or say that, hey, I'm just going to send a message, a private message or whatever it is. Please make sure that you are very, very, very detailed in terms of what you really do need. And we are here to assist you. We are here to help you get, all the information that you need. So please pay attention to information. Read. Like Christine mentioned here, I cannot overemphasize on what she said here. Please make sure that you read every single detail of the eligibility criteria, of the information that you actually do need to know ahead of time. And you're listening to this at a very good time, because you will have all the time to read through, synthesize that information, see what works for you, see whether there's a document that you might be missing, and do the very necessary. And like I said, this is a forum for the study in Germany. We will definitely be bringing you more forums of study abroad. We've been talking about this even on Twitter Spaces. Sometimes we hang out on Twitter Spaces with the EU in Kenya, and we are very excited that you guys can interact with us and get the help that you actually do need. So as we wrap up, Christine, if you can answer that one last question, whether someone really does need to have a German. What was the question again? I forget. Okay, so it was a language test for admission after getting the scholarship. So I believe this is a German language test. Is it necessary after the scholarship? Maybe after someone has bagged in a scholarship, and would they need to show a language test for them to be, I don't know. I guess that was the question. Yes.
Okay, I think that question is related to the institution.
Yeah.
So one institution may actually say,
okay.
Now, okay, for us, if you're talking about English, for us, if you apply, for example, here, if you apply to the DAAD to get a scholarship, for example, and you have proof that you actually had your studies in English, then that may not be a requirement. But the institution you're going to, the institution you're going to may actually ask that you have proof that you have that English. Okay. Yeah. So that highly depends on the institution.
Okay.
So communication.
Yeah.
Communication. Just communicate with the institution that you're intending. Excuse me, I'm blocking. That's communicates. Yeah, communicate to the institution that you intend to go to.
Okay.
And ask them. Yeah. Ask them what is your requirement. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I study. Explain yourself. Communication is key. Apart from reading, communication is key. And the only people who can actually give you acceptable and actual information are the people you are applying to, the institution you are applying to. So if you write to them and ask, and this is my interest, and you're asking for this kind of English, and this is what communication. Just communicate and ask them.
Okay. And they will answer to your emails, not those emails that you send and you wonder whether it bounced back or what happened. So they will definitely answer to you. So now, if I guess like Christine mentioned here, it has to be very institution specific. So whether it's German, whether it's an English test, or any other type of language of instruction, please make sure that you can ask these questions directly to the institution that you're applying for, so that you can be able to get a very sound, instruction of what to do. So I think we are at the very, very, very end. And Christine, I know that you, like I said before when we started this conversation, you can write a whole book about studying in Germany and how it changed your life. And, from a very personal experience, could you be able maybe to share into us what is maybe one or two things that you actually learned and you would never have been this type of person if you never went to study in Germany? Because I know, the exposure in Europe is quite a lot. The exposure in terms of the institution, the culture, pretty much everything right there. For someone who's listening to this and is wondering, is Germany the best option for me? Is it a good choice? What would you say was some of the things that, are really big highlights for you since you studied in Germany? Let's write the book. Okay, let's begin.
Of course, you know what I want to say. Okay. First and foremost, I learned a lot about punctuality. Germans are very punctual. Yeah. And if you do not keep time, you actually end up offending so many people. It's an offense. Yeah. Right. So you see the way, if you're from Kenya and you're invited for a party and they say the party begins at 7 and you say, 7, nobody will be there. So 7, you actually leave the office at 7, you go home, prepare, arrive at 9, and the party hasn't begun. for Germans, if they say it's 7, actually the party will begin at 7. If you walk in at 9, it's an offense. So I learned, I learned to be punctual. Yeah, I learned to be punctual. And then the second thing, German efficiency. Germans are very efficient in what they do. Yeah, it's cultural. Yeah. So if you ask me for something, Nduta, right now, and I have it, I won't like dilly-dally. I won't, I'll just respond to it and I say, oh, Nduta, let me get back to you tomorrow with this and here it is. They're very efficient. And when you're efficient, you become effective and your life becomes easier. We wouldn't even talk about things like you tell me, oh, by the way, what's your email address? Please send me your email address. And I tell you, okay, I'll send it to you. Then I put down the phone and I forget about you. I watch my movie. I don't know where I go shopping. I come back, of course, I've forgotten. Tomorrow at 4 p.m., I send you my email. That is something I could have done so efficiency. And then something about studying in Germany as opposed to other places. Germany is a very safe country. And when I was there, I actually really traveled a lot. It's actually in Central Europe. So you could go to very many places by train. So it actually exposed me to a number of European countries. And looking back, it was worth my time. It was worth my while. Yeah.
Absolutely. And from that, you are able to even go into a very good career and obviously be able to be exposed even into DAAD. Perhaps maybe if someone asked you before you went to study there whether you would see yourself working for DAAD in the future, perhaps, I don't know whether this would have been the story. But like you keep saying, obviously it builds you even career-wise and even as a person generally. And look, guys, you should be calling Christine Dr. Christine very soon. So
amen to that.
From the University of Nairobi, guys, she is definitely going to be called Dr. Christine.
No, actually, I'm actually doing my PhD at DAAD. UON was my undergrad. But it's okay. It doesn't matter.
It's okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think it's been amazing hanging out with you. I do believe that the European Union in Kenya, is very grateful for this, obviously, because you taking your time and letting us in on the scholarships opportunities in Germany. So thank you guys for listening in. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening. I do hope that this session has been of help to you. And even in the future, for those who are asking whether they can get a recording, guys, it's going to be on Facebook forever or YouTube forever. Choose where you want to listen this conversation from. So, what you can do is to subscribe to the EU in Kenya YouTube page, as well as like the Facebook page actually of the EU in Kenya. Once again, this is where these recordings will stay, and you can watch them. You can share them with a friend. You can definitely, rewatch much later and check in the information that you really do need to do that application. So we want to see you do the application from these sessions. That's the reason why we are doing this, ensuring that you have the right information, you have the right guidance. So I hope that this has been a great one for you. So please stay tuned, because you don't know who we are going to talk to next. Maybe it's Sweden, maybe it's Austria. Who knows? Come to Europe. We want you to come and have a feel of Europe, definitely. So thank you so much, Christine, for taking your time. And guys, thank you so much. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon. If you're listening to this much later, interact with us, send us your comments, your questions, and we'll be more than happy to answer you. So thank you so much.
Bye-bye. All the best.
Yes.